We have yet another episode being done today for the past podcast. If you're tuning in, I do appreciate it. If you'd like to check out any previous episodes, go to Spreaker.com/Brite Podcast. Nonetheless, let's continue the show. What it is, Past Podcast, running yet another episode. I'm your host, doing it with the most, BT, and I wanted to go ahead and first I'm going to do a few things. Number one, again, blue microphone, real MVP, love the mic. Always want to make sure I get a plug. Episodes are on Spreaker.com as well as iTunes. You're welcome to ask if you have not done so in regards to getting links to those episodes. I'm doing this episode as an info, it's kind of an info 101 and a non-work related yet needing to vent type of story to help people become better buyers and better consumers. I'm not telling anyone where to buy and how to buy or what to buy specifically because everyone has their preferences or their way as to how they spend money. So that's not what I'm here to do in this episode. This episode is just to give you smart ways of being a consumer. You have to know your stores to know your purchase. And here's what I mean in saying that. Now this is one I'm doing this, and Ashley, if you're listening, apologies in advance. I'm doing this literally from the hip. And I'm just speaking about the things that I know to be important when it comes to shopping and purchasing. Any of my friends who know me always hear me say eBay and Amazon, like those are my best friends. Like I personally live on their websites. I find pretty decent deals and I do a lot of window shopping when it comes to purchasing items between the two of them. Because on eBay, and it's a give and take, and I'm going to explain why. eBay, you're buying from another individual who has their product on eBay. So when you're purchasing from them, you're kind of having a rapport and a building with the seller and not the company, if that makes sense. Amazon, it's somewhat the same, but a lot of Amazon's products are directly from Amazon. So it's shipped, processed, handled through Amazon. You have to know how to compare your prices and see what's your stronger price point. So if you're buying something, for me, usually if I buy from eBay, I'm willing to accept the shipping flow. Meaning if I buy an item and it's being shipped from China, I'm expecting to wait a couple of days. I'm going to really make this as clear as I can. All of those promotions and the deals for the fake Ray-Bans and the fake Ugg boots, don't get your hopes high and get the thrill of, oh, it's on sale. Oh, it's a pretty good deal. This seems like it's worth doing or worth going for. No, it's not. Pay the real money and buy the real shoes or buy the real glasses. The worst thing to do, and someone did an article about this it was a YouTuber who actually did this, where he showed 3 of the Cleveland Cavaliers jerseys. This was from the end of after the championship series, the NBA Finals between Golden State and Cleveland. He was trying to get the Cleveland black jersey, which I call it the infamous black t-shirt. Anyone who knows the Cavaliers knows that LeBron hates t-shirt jerseys, or the sleeve jerseys rather. Yeah, I'm guilty of doing this as a sports podcast a little bit, but y'all know how I am. I don't care. But that being said, he showed how 3 companies had a jersey that all were meant to be official, authentic NBA jerseys, but only one of them was real. Why was the one jersey real? Wonder where he bought it from. Oh, I know. He went to the NBA store, since they're the officially licensed product or the officially licensed seller of their own products. Buying replica jerseys, you get what you get. It's a replica jersey. You're also paying a more inexpensive fee to get that replica jersey. I've bought replicas, but if I could buy a replica, it's usually from a store such as a Foot Locker, Foot Action. I went through my jersey phase. One of my friends always gets on me about it to this day, where I was in my little athletic dress phase, which now I really don't have to wear jerseys and get through life. I'll be fine if I wear t-shirts or polo shirts, either or. But even with polo shirts, if I buy a polo shirt and it's not the strongest or the greatest of quality, if you're buying it from eBay and paying $9 or $10, then you don't want to place a long life expectancy on that shirt. $6 tees. Love their website. Love the nifty idea of their shirts. Expect the shirts to last a year, 2 years max. And then also there's things with weight, which I'm possibly going to get into that topic as well within the April podcast flow. And by the way, if I have not stated so already, this is part of my continuing series for the podcast every day in April. I've mentioned, if you go and listen to the episode on the 2nd of April, it does explain how this works and what the process is as to how we're going to be getting this all into flow of doing a pretty phenomenal show. I just emphasize on, if you're going to buy things, buy the real thing. Sometimes we want to be cheap, and cheap is okay, but don't be cheap and selling yourself short. I'll give a perfect example. I have the Blue Yeti microphone. Just because I have the Blue Yeti microphone, yeah, there's another quality that's some consider to be better, but it's still the Blue microphone. It's nothing to take away from if you buy just a basic microphone, as long as you're getting the quality and the content as to what you're doing. You have to keep in mind when buying things as to where the target reaches in what you're doing. I'll give an even better example, because I know that was kind of like a not the best example, but this will tie into it even better. Apple has the Apple Watch. Samsung has the Samsung Gear. A lot of people don't like the Gear because of you have to have a separate data plan. A lot of people don't like the Apple Watch because you have to have an Apple device or Apple iPhone for it to link to the Apple Watch. That's all personal preference. That's all going to be how it's going to go no matter what. Having said all of that, if you're buying a basic watch that is not even a Fitbit, and it's only meant to do simple things such as skip through music, it's basically it's a unique Bluetooth paired device to your phone. Understand that if that watch's life expectancy is 6 months, that you're getting what you paid for. So if you're paying $50 or $60 for that form of watch, expect the $50 to $60 quality out of the watch. We want to be cordial and safe in our spending, and I'll even go as far as explaining it with ink pens. When I buy pens, most of my friends know. Now I've kind of gotten hipped onto it, and I'm still slow at doing it. Jinhao, they're kind of like a simple fountain pen business. Let's see, Pentel. I know most of my main babies. Pentel, Bic, all of your big names when it comes to pens, and those are just your pens. Parker, those are your pens that everyday people use. An instance that I ran across, someone purchased a pen, Mont Blanc. Mont Blanc is not a cheap pen. But on the same token, if you're buying it for its purpose, then you're expecting to get what you get out of your purchase or your quality instead of having to deal with quantity. So it's something that you want to always consider or look at when you're getting or doing certain things. Ladies, I'm going to go there because I can. Hair. Don't be selling yourself short buying just any kind of hair thinking it's going to do something. And then you're upset because it ain't lasting the life expectancy that you were looking for it to go for. These are my fun stories, and these are my fun topics, because having female friends or people who I know that are female on a podcast like this is the du jour to die for. You know, if you buy a keyboard, like I was given a keyboard that was a pretty basic keyboard, and one day I was using it and the space bar just died. Bluetooth connection worked, everything else was okay, but the space bar just went out on it. Wasn't much I could really do. So you just have to know in buying things what you're getting. Like, the analogy literally means you get what you pay for. So if you go on wish.com and buy certain things, many of them are going to last for a while. Many of them may not last by the time they get to your house. And another tip that I like to give, and I'm kind of trying to make sure, because I'm following the Ashley protocol with doing this, and I feel like this might give me some motivation, but we'll see, is I want to keep these under 15 minutes, I'm sorry. Don't buy or do something or cut a corner with something that you know is going to be beneficial to just go ahead and pay the good money and get it done. And I'm even experiencing this now. I'm having my car worked on, which the company who I'm getting to work on it is paying, giving me a reasonable deal with a lot of what I'm getting done. Whereas you may go to another company and they're going to upcharge you on what they're doing, when their reality is they're doing so solely to get you to get more work or services done for things that you may or may not need. The spin side of that is, if a company has a focus on one thing, be observant of that focus. I've seen that be very pivotal, very important. And I've told this to a lot of people, and many folks have taken advice to this, and I'm a huge advocate of it. Always, 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 always make sure you get a receipt. Get a receipt. Have something on paper. Don't just sit and say, oh, I don't need the receipt, if it's something that you're doing business related that could come back and harm you. McDonald's, fast food places, convenience stores, really, no, not even wasting time. But reservations, itineraries, business-based things, etc., make sure you get a receipt or have a receipt sent to you by email. I've gotten to the point now where if I'm able to get a receipt by email, I love it. Companies are slowly picking up on that. So just think about those things as the end consumer. You can be simple, but be simple on the right things. Don't cut yourself short on the wrong things. So, closing out, if you're buying products or if you're buying stuff, buying items, buy from the real websites. Don't buy from fake companies, because if you do, you end up getting something that's not as the same quality. I've had people buy NHL jerseys that aren't real. Buying real products make a big difference. So be sure to remember that. And if you're buying stuff, make sure you do research on what you're buying. Find companies that can have a better deal on the same product of the same quality. And most importantly, when given a receipt, make sure that you keep track of your receipts, along with the fact that you don't sell yourself short when it comes to maybe having to question what was or was not provided based on your receipt or based on your purchase. Emails go a long way. Just keep tabs on emails. If you have Gmail or if you have any personal emails, star the email that you receive or make a reminder to flag it so that it stands out as an email to look at or keep an eye on in the event that you don't get the product. So those are my tips. Those are my pieces of information to share on how to be a better consumer. Consumption of products or being a buyer is more than just walking in the store or going online and buying something and checking out and having your credit card or debit card get debited. So, thank you all. Past Podcast signing out. We've done it once again. We finished yet another episode. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. If you're not following on Twitter or on Facebook, please look up Past Podcast. That's PASS Podcast, one word. I am accepting inquiries for any topics or concerns at pastpodcastbt@gmail.com. And just continue to support. I appreciate all the support and everyone listening and tuning in. Until next time, y'all take it easy.